Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker, established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys in offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. And by Hancock Whitney. Hancock Whitney is here for families, here for businesses, here for communities during this challenging time. Visit HancockWhitney.com/COVID-19 for the latest. And by Short & Associates, legal recruiters in Louisiana and Texas.
From our socially distanced virtual lunch table in Baton Rouge, we're out to lunch with Stephanie Riegel, editor of the Baton Rouge Business Report. It's business, Baton Rouge style.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Riegel. Welcome to Out to Lunch. In 2018, the U.S. wedding industry was worth an estimated $75 billion, and the average wedding set the happy couple or their parents back by a whopping $44,000, nearly double the average cost of just a year or two earlier. Yes, weddings are big business today, and that has created all sorts of opportunities for creative entrepreneurs who have figured out how to offer goods and services to satisfy the fancy and the budget of every bride. Yes, we are talking weddings today on Out to Lunch, and with me today to discuss this is Lauren Bercier, founder and CEO of Something Borrowed Blooms, a startup that offers rent and return flowers for your special day. The company uses high-quality silk flowers and then does the arrangements themselves, being mindful of the latest trends and fashions in floral arrangements. Lauren co-founded the company in 2015 with her cousin, basing it on their experiences as brides. And after a couple of years of slow growth, company revenues shot up 400%. Lauren says today's millennial brides want picture-perfect weddings but don't necessarily want to spend money on pricey fresh flowers. And with Something Borrowed Blooms, they don't have to. Lauren, you are like revolutionizing the wedding industry. It's such a great idea, and we are so excited to have you here with us today.
Thank you. We're excited to be here as well. And yeah, we like to say that we're modernizing the wedding flower industry.
There you go.
Yep.
Joining me and Lauren is Felix Sherman Jr., co-owner of one of Baton Rouge's most beloved bakeries, Ambrosia, which is particularly well known for its beautiful wedding cakes and, of course, a whole bunch of other sinfully delicious confections. Ambrosia was founded in 1991 by Felix's parents, Felix and Cheryl Sherman. Cheryl had been decorating cakes in the 1980s and had spent some time working in other bakeries and gift shops. She's very artistic and creative. And after losing his job due to a company merger in 1991, Felix decided it was time to try something new. So they opened a bakery together, and Ambrosia was born. In the years since, it has grown tremendously and expanded 3 times, in 2008 to its present location on Segan Lane, where it also has a deli that serves breakfast and lunch. It has been recognized not only locally but nationally, picking up, among others, an award for being one of the top 50 wedding cake bakeries in America. Felix, it's a great story, and everybody loves Ambrosia, so thanks for being here today on Out to Lunch.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Well, Lauren, I'm going to come back to you first. Something Borrowed Blooms, the right concept at the right time, such a great idea.
Thank you.
So you and your cousin started this. Were you brainstorming ideas because you wanted to come up with a way to help people save money on weddings, or was it a floral idea, or you just wanted to come up with a cool entrepreneurial idea?
That's the last is the right ticket here. So we really wanted to start a business. At that time, I had stopped working. I had babies at home, and I was just a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
My cousin, on the flip side, was working in the corporate world, also starting her family. And we both just had this entrepreneurial itch that we knew we really wanted to get into. My background was in public relations. Her background is in marketing. So we had the right skill sets, and we considered, the right resources to look into something. And what initially got us excited was Rent the Runway. That concept we thought was so interesting, how you could rent a really high-priced ticket item, use it for a weekend, and pay a fraction of the cost of that item. So we were looking at ways to apply that same concept but to a different market.
And so flowers. Mm-hmm. And how did you come up with the idea of flowers? How do you even know what to do with flowers?
Yeah, right. So flowers started, we started looking at weddings specifically because they can be so expensive. We had both gotten married recently. When I started thinking about it more, my wedding flower experience was less than what I had hoped for. Met with the florist, told her what I liked, showed her some pictures, thought we were on the same page, and the day of the wedding, she shows up with this box of flowers, and it was just less than I had hoped for. So I was disappointed, but by that point I had spent the thousands of dollars on flowers, and by that point it was kind of too late. And so we kind of took that thought. Laken originally had the idea of using silk flowers. My initial reaction was like, there is no way. Like, no, that's not going to work. I had, craft store flowers in mind when we first started talking about it. But once we looked into it more and realized that there were some really premium, high-end, beautiful silk flowers that, when designed the perfect way, they can create such beautiful options.
Excellent. Okay, well, I want to hear more about that. But speaking of premium, high-end, beautiful, Felix, that's what Ambrosia's cakes are really known for. They're just like little works of art. And Ambrosia really started because of your mother's expertise in cakes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Back when I was in high school, she was taking cake decorating lessons with a good friend of mine. And of course, she took it to the next level and is decorating everybody's cakes at home and so forth. And Dad got transferred over to Houma, Louisiana, and she started making wedding cakes. Mm-hmm. And then she was actually had somebody knock on the door and said, you can't do this out of your home. You don't have a triple sink. You're not sanitary, blah, blah, blah. Which, of course, now they can because of the cottage law. However, so she said, well, if I can't join them, I can't do this, I may as well go ahead and join them. And so she actually started working at a bakery in Houma, Louisiana.
Fantastic. And from there, like I said, it evolved.
Yes.
How much of a part of y'all's business are cakes, and specifically wedding cakes, if you were breaking down the
Probably
side?
about 25%.
So, yeah, that's a lot. That's a good amount.
Yeah, it's a lot of cakes. There'll be any specific weekend I could be delivering, 8 to 10 wedding cakes just here in the local area.
In a weekend?
In a weekend, in a day.
Wow. And weddings
just one
have
day.
really, like I said in the introduction, weddings have gotten to be big business.
Right.
And, and it just seems like they're more and more over the top. I guess we live in an Insta world, right? And everybody wants the Insta perfect wedding.
It's a Pinterest.
Pinterest wedding.
I agree with that, but I'd also say that, our business specifically, we really look at millennial trends, and we're noticing that millennials who are getting married a little bit later and sometimes are, paying for their weddings rather than parents paying for everything, they are a little more conscious of their budget and how they're spending that money. So they're looking for ways to allocate their budget differently. So that's something that we've noticed, and that was another big reason why we kind of, designed their business the way that we did, so that we give them an opportunity to save in an area that they think isn't as meaningful, but they can, stretch that budget in areas that might be more exciting to them, like the honeymoon or,
Sure.
or the cake, whatever it may be that is more important to them.
And how much do you save, for instance, using a silk floral arrangement than?
So we're typically 70% less expensive than a traditional florist. So couples are saving thousands of dollars by renting their flowers. We get feedback all the time from couples all over the country saying that the couple was able to take the honeymoon of their dreams because of the money that they saved by renting their wedding flowers.
And where do you get these beautiful silk flowers?
So we select them, we source them from wholesalers throughout the U.S. We buy from all the largest silk flower wholesalers and we go and we hand select every single stem so that the quality and designs are exactly what we're, wanting to put out there. So.
Okay. And then when you get them, then do you all make
Yes.
prototype arrangements?
So we have a
or-
production team now that produces all of the floral arrangements that we provide. So we have a staff of about 6 or 7 on the production team who builds out all of our products.
And how big is this business? I mean,
Right now we've grown pretty, like you said, significantly over the last year. So we're now a staff of 16. We're currently servicing over 400 weddings per month.
400 a month.
Yeah. Which is exciting. When we started, the goal was to do 12 weddings a month. I was like, if we can do 12 weddings, this would be awesome. The goal is to capture 1% of the wedding market, which we really think we can do. And
In the whole United States?
Yeah, but we are also serving Canada as well. So we're serving Canada and looking at ways to expand to the Caribbean and some other destination areas.
Can you stay in Louisiana? And do it from here?
As of right now, we're growing in Louisiana. We've been able to find outside investors, outside capital. Like, we've been able to really grow this national business right here in Louisiana, which is really exciting.
That is, and have you gotten national publicity and recognition?
Yeah, we've actually been on Good Morning America. We've been featured in Martha Stewart Weddings, on The Knot, lots of big wedding publications. We're showing at New York Bridal Fashion Week this year. We have some major, things in the works that are really exciting. So the goal really is to be a nationally recognized brand.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You mentioned that people can save money on the flowers and spend it, for instance, on the cakes or something like that. I mean, Felix, are wedding cakes that expensive? And
Well, what we've seen lately is the budget has kind of been reduced, with the amount of money that people are spending, like you're saying,
Totally agree.
tremendously. However, I'm a father of 2 young ladies that have already been married, so
Really?
been there, have done that, have paid the high price for everything. But the cakes have gotten a little bit smaller. Occasionally we'll get some large cakes, and so just not exactly where we were in the past as far as the
Interesting.
design, Not as many fondant cakes as what we used to do.
Okay.
Because I used to do them all.
Really?
Okay. So we're not actually designing those as many now. But more of a buttercream. And then a lot of people are just amazed at our buttercream on how smooth it is because they think it's fondant, but it's not, so.
Buttercream's
Then
always
the
so much better.
artistry.
Yeah,
There's a buttercream
yeah.
cake. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
I know that the artistry behind these is so. I mean, is it very difficult to? Do you have to just have a steady hand? Do you follow a sort of a prototype or
Well,
steps to take? Because it's really
The ones that do decorate, of course, my mom was the artist that got everybody started. She's the one that trains people, make sure that it's all done precisely the way it needs to be done. The girls pick up on it really fast. There's nothing that we see on Pinterest, online, that we can't possibly recreate in some sort of fashion, But the brides are, the one thing that's unique about what we do is that the brides are very specific on their creations. They want it to look like the back of their dress. They want the lace of their dress on the cake.
Really?
So it makes it really unique for everybody, so
interesting.
yeah.
Lauren, I'm fascinated by this concept. And how do you, for instance, keep silk flowers looking fresh? How do you get somebody's flowers back that have been used and spruce them up to send out to the next person?
Yep.
And-
So we created a custom insert that we use for shipping, so it keeps the flowers in the box, upright, nice and neatly during transit. So things usually, are able to go there and come back without too much, shuffle through the transit process. So the brides receive a return label when they receive their package. So everything's really nice and organized and neatly set up for them to return very simply. When we do receive flowers back, our packing team kind of goes through a quality control process. So they'll unpack everything, and if there's anything that needs to be refreshed, it goes to the revamp area where our production team will change out a stem if needed, or rearrange an arrangement if it's kind of out of place. But typically, everything's able to be reused over and over again, and we'll
Right.
just replace single stems as needed.
And do you have like any florists on staff to
We
help
do.
you with this? Or okay.
Yeah, so our lead designer now is a florist. When we first started, it was just Laken and myself, and I am not the crafty one, so Laken was the one who was designing everything. Yeah, we do have a florist on staff who's our lead designer, and then we also, our production team has 3 designers who have floral experience, and then 3 assistants. So
And I don't know, do florists need to be licensed in Louisiana?
they do.
That's
to
what I
work
thought.
with fresh flowers, but
But
not
not-
with silk flowers.
You're listening to Out to Lunch. I'm Stephanie Riegel. I'm talking to Lauren Bercier of Something Borrowed Blooms and Felix Sherman Jr. of Ambrosia Bakery. Felix, how do you all market at your respective businesses and advertise? I'm sure social media is huge.
Well, we do a lot on social media. I handle all that as well. We haven't, I hate to say this, but we don't do that much advertising in the wedding department because the phone just never stops. I mean,
You don't
just,
need to, in other words.
Correct. A small percentage of it is used towards that because we're so limited on how many we can do in a given weekend.
Right.
As far as deliveries and setups and so forth, So we try to stay within the local, Baton Rouge area, because if somebody decides, hey, I want a cake in New Orleans, that's a 2-hour transportation there and back, let alone the setup for it as well. So it kind of cuts away from doing more here locally,
Right.
So we try to stay, within our realm, of about 90 miles, thereabouts.
Yeah, which makes total sense for your business, and then for us, we're like completely opposite. So I think, local advertisers get frustrated with us sometimes when we don't bite on like the advertising opportunities they provide for us. We try to explain that yes, we are local and we're based here in Lafayette, and we serve Lafayette and Baton Rouge and all the communities in Louisiana, but our reach is truly national. So all of our advertising dollars are mostly spent on social media, Google ads, those things that we can really cast a wide net. It's more economic for us. The amount of money we can spend on Facebook and the amount of people we can reach is so much broader than if we bought an ad in a local magazine. That's a little bit harder to justify.
Of course.
So we definitely do all of our advertising, social media, and then we try to look for opportunities with other wedding-related blogs, like outlets on Instagram. We'll get Instagram influencers reach out to us, or we'll reach out to them, where they'll like highlight our product on their Instagram feed so that our brides can kind of see real people, using our products. So that's another thing that we do.
What percentage of the business is national at this point versus local?
20% or less, I'd say, is Louisiana weddings.
So you're doing all of this virtually out of state. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah, it is. It's been
So
really crazy.
who's the competition out there? And I mean, I know who your competition is, but Felix, but maybe you can tell me who really Ambrosia's up in. And what about other companies copying this idea, Lauren, and coming after y'all?
That actually did happen. About a year and a half after we started, we noticed there was a company who literally copied and pasted our entire website. Was like word for word. Like my words were just like on their website, which is super infuriating.
Yeah.
So that, kind of fast follower. But they, they're still around, but we've had to get legal action to get them to kind of, do your own thing. But besides that, our biggest competition would be other national floral companies, but that have a different model. So there's companies that will send you fresh flowers with instructions on how to put your own bouquets together, like geared toward the DIY bride, who isn't necessarily our customer, but might be someone who would be looking at both options. There's silk floral people on Etsy that provide like silk flower arrangements on Etsy. So there's some competition, but really we're the only company doing silk wedding flowers for rent at this level nationally.
And can you copyright that idea or trademark it?
It's really hard to trademark it because it's not anything that's patentable, but we're kind of in the process of copyrighting our names, our logos, all of our concepts. The content of the website, those types of things, and then even little things like our packaging, things that would make it more difficult for someone to try to enter their market and copy us directly. So we're doing things like that to protect ourselves.
And Felix, what about Ambrosia? And particularly when I think about the grocery stores that are all now getting into not so much the wedding cake business, but the cake business for sure.
Well, I've had to get quite a few trademarks, because some of our cakes were just appearing on their shelves, and have to get in touch with the owners and call for a cease and desist, because they've taken all your business. It's something that, like for example, the cake we were talking about earlier belongs to Whole Foods, so we never would make something that belongs to them because we know who owns it.
Sure.
We don't own it, they do. Mm-hmm. So I would never infringe upon that. But there's been some other local supermarkets that have infringed.
And they tried to steal your
And my
cake.
kids would send me pictures saying, "Hey, Dad, look what's here at the shop," and I'm like, OMG, I'm going to have to get on top of this, because you get very infuriated, when somebody steals your idea and your concept. And so what made it even more difficult, which we were fighting for a long time, was the cottage law, which was allowing anybody in their home to make cakes. And what makes it really difficult is that I have to go through all the regulations, everything that you can think of that needs to be correct and on mark, but then anybody can make one right out of their home, and they don't have to do anything.
And they don't have to follow the food laws
Nope.
like other food vendors would.
Nope, which makes it very challenging, for us,
Sure.
So you got, like for example, my mom was making it back in the day when she was told that she couldn't do that out of house. So what did she do? She listened to
bakery,
him.
right?
She listened to him and said, well, if I can't do it, I might as well go join them. And she got a job, When
did the cottage law go into effect?
It's been about I'm just guessing about 3 or 4 years now.
Okay,
you
not
know.
familiar with that one.
Yeah, so, which, was a hard hit for us. Us and other bakers were there trying to stop it, but they didn't let us.
Can you copyright a cake? Can you
can't-
copyright your strawberry cake, for instance?
Well, you can't patent it because then everybody knows what's in it. Because then you have to release all the ingredients, which of course, I'd rather give my left arm than give away the ingredients because that's our staple.
Sure.
That's what people come to us for.
Sure.
You know.
That's so interesting. Are there secret ingredients in cakes?
In that particular cake, there is.
Okay. It's such a good cake. Lauren, you mentioned we were talking about the competition. Is Amazon or Google doing something similar to what you are?
No, I mean, not with the rental model. There are pre-made silk bouquets you can find on Amazon. The quality is much less than what we offer. I think one of the special qualities about Something Borrowed Blooms is that we do have florists on staff who are designing, that we are actually, real people with certain tastes that we create collections that we think brides would really gravitate towards.
Right.
So I think that's what really also sets us apart.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah, it says it's not just like it's a pre-made bouquet you can find at like Hobby Lobby.
Sure.
It's not the same thing.
Sure. And you have a wide spectrum of price ranges. I mean, you can do a big, extravagant, over-the-top wedding.
Yeah,
And it's-
everything is a la carte. So you can, if you wanted to order 3 boutonnieres and that's all you needed, that's fine. We'll send you 3 boutonnieres. And then we also have, we have everything from obviously the bouquets, all your needs for your wedding party, but also centerpieces and garland and lanterns. And now we've even expanded our decor items to include brass candlesticks and LED powered candles. And so we really have a full wide variety of product offerings that the brides can
This is going
choose
public.
from. Yeah.
This is
So,
incredible. I mean,
thank you.
how do you manage all the inventory and know how much to keep? I mean, it seems like you
it's a
just
lot.
can-
It's just so it's funny to think back because just a few years ago we were doing this outside of my house, in my house,
Literally.
So we had this extra room upstairs that was supposed to be the man cave, which quickly became overtaken with flowers.
The wedding cave.
Yeah. Since then, like I said, we're in our warehouse now, so we have ladders that go up like 20 feet of all of our shelving with all of our products. So, yeah, it's a lot. But
do you think you'll be able to do it all from one location, or as it grows nationally, would it make sense to have a couple of distribution or operations centers to cut down on what I would imagine are shipping costs?
Yeah, that could be a potential, something to consider in the future. Right now, we're able to operate out of our warehouse here in Louisiana without any problems. We've been working with FedEx exclusively, and they've been really wonderful. We actually won 3rd place for their FedEx Small Business Grant recently, a national competition. I think it was like out of 18,000 applicants. And so since then, they've really helped, us grow our business. We're going to a conference at their main hub in Memphis in a few weeks, where they're going to help us, even think more globally, like how can we do this on an even larger scale, and how can they help us grow with logistics. So that's really exciting, and they've already gotten us in touch with the government portion of exporting our products beyond just Canada. So like I mentioned earlier, to more Caribbean type areas for destination weddings. So that's something else that's on the horizon.
That's a big thing. I know we're talking a lot about weddings, but Ambrosia does a lot more than just wedding cakes. You said that's about 25% of your business.
Correct.
I would imagine the other cakes and beautiful petit fours and sweets and cookies like the some you brought for us to sample.
Yes.
It makes up another half of it?
Oh
or-
yeah, a large percentage because people come to us wanting birthday cakes, anniversary cakes, all the above, any type of event that you have, and then we have our deli as well where we make all different types of sandwich trays and breakfast trays and so forth. That works too.
So that helps diversify.
Correct.
You all never wanted to get too big beyond Baton Rouge. Or the plans looking forward over the next 3 to 5 years to stay Baton Rouge Capital Region or to expand beyond that?
Well, for right now, because mom and dad actually started this up, and it's actually bigger than what they ever expected. So that's the way it is for now. My brother and I have other plans, but we'll take care of those when we get to that point.
One step
Are
at
your
a time.
parents still involved in your business?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They love coming every day.
Oh, wow.
They like leaving early now too. So,
That makes it perfect, right?
Oh yeah, they can come and go whenever they want. Sometimes it's time for them just to go on vacation and go find something to do, but they're special, and we love having them there for sure.
That's great. Well, Lauren Bercier and Felix Sherman, this has been such a fascinating conversation, such a fun subject, and it's also interesting to see so much innovation and artistry coming out of our area here in South Louisiana. So keep up the good work, and good luck with your continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We look forward to following your progress. Thanks for being here on Out to Lunch. My guests today on Out to Lunch have been Lauren Bercier of Something Borrowed Blooms and Felix Sherman Jr. of Ambrosia Bakery. You can find out more about Something Borrowed Blooms and Ambrosia by going to the links on our website, itsbatonrouge.la. The producer of our show is Grant Morris, our technical producer is Eric Merle, our associate producer is Peter Raschuti, and our Baton Rouge business consultants are Charlie D'Agostino, Dave Winwood, and Ann Edelman. If you want to know what we all look like, you can find photos from this show on our website, itsbatonrouge.la, and on our It's Baton Rouge Facebook page. These photos were taken by Carrie Hosford, and you can find more of Carrie's photos at carriehosford.com. You can hear this show and past episodes of Out to Lunch wherever you get podcasts and at itsbatonrouge.la. Out to Lunch is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsbatonrouge.la and WRKF 89.3 FM. I'm Stephanie Riegel. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to meeting you again next week around the table here at Mansur's for more business Baton Rouge style on Out to Lunch.
Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker, established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys in offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. And by Hancock Whitney. Hancock Whitney is here for families, here for businesses, here for communities during this challenging time. Visit HancockWhitney.com/COVID-19 for the latest. And by Short & Associates, legal recruiters in Louisiana and Texas. Mitchell Foreman wrote and performs all the music on Out to Lunch. You can hear Mitchell's music anywhere great jazz is sold or streamed, and at mitchellforeman.com.